Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game cast, a game between Sock and Orcer. This game taking place here on Concealed Hill. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, however you guys may be watching this. Well, I hope you guys are having a great day. Yeah, just added stress in my life, doing a little bit of, I guess, video blogging, added stress in my life right now. um, trying to do a good job everywhere, and sometimes, unless I trim the fat somewhere, well, I'm just gonna do a mediocre or bad job everywhere. Stream again by supporting him on make me stream again by supporting me on Twitch and YouTube. Yes, support me on Twitch and YouTube. It would be really strange if this could actually become my full-time job. I had considered it over a decade ago when I was getting lots of views, and now not so much. So who knows? With the introduction of more real-time strategy games coming around the corner, hopefully Battle Aces can do a good job. It's really going to come down to execution at this point. Stormgate feels like an early beta to me in terms of its animation quality. Also, going behind the scenes and being able to see a lot of, or playing a little bit more Battle Aces since it is back out in closed beta test 2. Appreciating the sound design, appreciating a lot of the things that go into a game. Things that I had never considered, even with my background, background with music and mixing music for some local venues, giving each instrument or giving each location a place and a music bandwidth or a sound bandwidth of its own. If you have everything occupy the same frequencies, when everything plays together, it just kind of becomes muddled, and you can't hear the important things. However, when you're playing real-time strategy games, modern real-time strategy games, you'll notice that there's actually sound space for everything as you're listening. All right, that's going to go ahead. Warcraft 3, everything seems to be, you can hear everything clanking together. Everything seems to be in the same sound pace. WC4061 gets the last hit. So WC4061 picking up the potion, Archmage picking up the potion of invulnerability. WC4061 getting the last hit, denying level 2, and that's going to really set things back. Remember, every second that that the Archmage is not at level 2 is, well, 0.75 mana gone. So that is going to add up extremely quickly, 45 mana over a minute. And then what you're going to see there is that the Archmage right now could use an additional 40 mana in order to or 45 mana in order to summon up a water elemental and be able to push back all of these tactics a little bit more. Meanwhile, looks as though the footmen are going to try and finish off this last guy here. Are going to re-summon? That is the question. Going to get in a little bit of damage. Standing too close to that. Well, WC4061 gets the last hit again. Water Elemental gets in a little bit of damage. You can see more damage still getting racked up onto Sock's footman there as the Archmage. Is it going to get aggroed? That is the question. Are you going to aggro those creeps? No, they are not. Archmage still regenerating a little bit of hit points as the WC40 now starting to make its way down. This is all working out for Orcer's strategy here. He is teching to tier 2 extremely quickly, and now Sock only beginning now to tech to tier 2. The WC40 actually winning out on the experience race and also having a little bit more hit points than the Archmage. Archmage, however, with the boots of speed, able to run away quickly, head back over to this fountain of health, perhaps going to make his way back off to the north inside his base here. Meanwhile, low hit point footman using that fountain of health as well, and this is one of those things, high level players using the map to their advantage. In years past, Orc players generally liked fountains of health more just because of grunts and because of the percentage based heals. In this particular matchup though, we're looking at Orcer, who is the one with the lower hit point units. He's the one with the headhunters here, and compared to the footmen. So the footmen are actually going to be healing at a higher rate. Footman now looking to dive on in. Archmage coming in from behind. Are we going to drop a water elemental or two? Beastie are going to be put into pressure now as this one headhunter trying to retreat back. Archmage gets up to level 2. There goes one headhunter down. Farseer trying to push back that Archmage. Archmage, however, with boots of speed, able to move around very quickly as a Spirit Lodge is now going to get surrounded. All right, a lot of damage here, but the headhunters are going to be more than enough to try to finish off some of this. Tauren Chieftain now out on the battlefield as well. Are we going to get some repairs? One footman about to get taken down here. Another footman about to get taken down, but this is all to buy time to make sure that this Spirit Lodge doesn't complete. If the Spirit Lodge completes, it really changes the game. But is it going to get destroyed? It does get destroyed. It was not cancelled, it was destroyed. Loss of resources on that building are going to be huge as we are now training up and getting the bestiary. There goes one footman down there, but what was a very strong opening movement by Orcer, well, I believe Sock has found a way to try and equalize the game a bit more, destroying that Voodoo Lounge as it was, or not the Voodoo Lounge, the Spirit Lodge, as it was nearing completion. And then now that fast tech to tier 2 is only translating into a single bestiary and that Tauren Chieftain right now. Tauren Chieftain going for Endurance Aura first. Farseer getting up a Clarity Potion. Meanwhile, Archmage Footman looking to place in more pressure again. What is going to go down here? Archmage going to make its way back over, perhaps drop another Water Elemental, push it on through, perhaps get some damage here. But this does not look good at all. Meanwhile, Tauren Chieftain has not gone for Shockwave or anything else yet. There goes another Headhunter there, as the Headhunter, well, lost control of himself and ran straight into the Sword of a Footman. Archmage should be, well, figuring out what his next strategies are. Sock knows that he can't really stick around in this spot. He's quickly teched to tier 2 and sped built 2 arcane sanctums. With that, he will be able to go for very strong casters, sorceresses and priestess, perhaps slow and divide the army. Tauren Chieftain has to be careful. If he goes for Stomp, we're going to see an influx of Spellbreakers, and if he goes for, well, we might just see an influx of Spellbreakers overall, as if there are more casters, Shockwave might be useful, but Tauren Chieftain hasn't trained up anything yet. He's not sure what he's going up against and doesn't know what, well, he doesn't know what spell or what skill to go for. Now, Ogre Magi down, Tauren Chieftain at about, Tauren Chieftain at gonna get to about 2.5, maybe 2, sitting there. Meanwhile, Archmage alongside the Mountain King, who picked up a Cloak of Flames. That is going to be a big item for that Mountain King. He's going to try and get to level 2, get that Thunderclap, and, well, he's just going to try to dive into positions with a Cloak of Flames and a level 2 Thunderclap once he gets to level 3 and be able to perhaps just finish off units easily. The Priest and Sorceresses are still at Initiate training. Adept training should be coming in around the corner. Meanwhile, the Tauren Chieftain and Farseer here clearing out the remainders of the Ogre Lord Creep Camp, as we are looking to get more Headhunters out, but we are not going into tier 3, but we do have that Spirit Lodge getting trained up for that precious Purge. Tauren Chieftain will need a little bit more experience to get to level 3 here. Still hasn't trained up that second ability. Meanwhile, the Farseer testing the waters off to the north and gonna see the Archmage, Mountain King, and all of these, all of these casters right nearby. All right. With some Wind Riders, we're gonna see some piercing damage from the sky. Tauren Chieftain gets to level 3, still hasn't chosen an ability as of yet. Does pick up a Tome of Intelligence picks up a Tome of Intelligence +2 for a little bit more mana. Now, is the Tauren Chieftain perhaps going to buy another Scroll of Healing? Could try and go after this Ogre Magi Creep Camp. He does have a little bit of separation. The Farseer knows this. He could perhaps pull these units away. Raiders should have Ensnare at this point. And here we are. Here we go. Going to go ahead and try and engage against these units. Force Troll High Priest. First unit to get targeted down. The Wolves are getting taken down pretty quickly as well. In comes the Red Drake. Red Drake well, taking quite a little bit of focus damage here, but remember that Fountain of Health, really a percentage base heal. Dreaded Drake difficult to take down with 950 hit points. Must have done over 1,000 damage already as it finally gets cleaned up. Ring of the Archmagi +3 to every single stat. Good for that Tauren Chieftain in that front line as this Fountain of Health has now been cleared. Meanwhile, down to the south side here, Thunderclap level 2 coupled with that Cloak of Flames. And, well, really racking up that damage while slowing down the damage by slowing the attacks of all of those units. Alright, what was a strong opening for Orcer is now, well, pretty much a neck-and-neck race between the 250 supply compared to 48, both sides having level 3 heroes as the Raiders now dive on to the Arcane Vault. Wind Riders, are they gonna... Oh, the Wolves were trying to be resummoned in that position, not able to be done. There goes a Shockwave, finding a couple of Peasants as the Arcane Tower could get poked down very easily. Farseer, is it gonna try and go after these units? Arcane Tower finally targeting up a hero. There goes another Shockwave ripping on through, followed by a Chain Lightning, and that should be some easy deaths there as the Tauren Chieftain tries to keep his way back. Meanwhile, back on the bottom side of the base, we saw that Thunderclap, Cloak of Flames doing so much damage, so many workers lost, only 2 workers left. That is a horrible spot to be in, especially since he is now upside down on supply. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 4, both sides still fighting their way through. Units are getting cleaned up on both sides there. There's another Shockwave ripping through some of those units as another Thunderclap coming across here, but the Mountain King is not surrounded by a bunch of Orc units as you would normally think. Lightning Shield now coming across, that's going to be quickly dispelled. Farseer trying to dance away, get a little bit of distance, more getting summoned up here as the casters are going to get cleaned up from behind. One caster down, another one, well, it turns into invisibility. Are we going to see another caster get cleaned up here? There's a Stormbolt onto the Farseer. Farseer down to 150 hit points, takes down the Archmage, or takes down the Sorceress, and now continuing the fight there. There's a Thunderclap Archmage using the Cloak of Flames to stay alive as the Farseer now teleports back home. A new Orc burrow needs to be trained up, and then the peons can get trained, but oddly enough, there's not enough gold. Where is the other worker? Is there a... Where... It says there's 2 workers here. Where's the other worker? There is no... Okay. Orc quickly selling some items at the shop, needs to train up more workers. Is there another worker? That worker joining in on the fight, not realizing what's happening. Both sides are just kind of crippled right now with their economy. 6 workers versus 3. Mountain King in that front line spot, and now here we go, gonna get in a little bit of damage. Are we perhaps gonna see a purge down onto some of those units? As Stormbolt onto the Wind Rider. Wind Rider could get picked off there. He's not careful. Priest gets quickly focused down by a Wind Rider here as the Tauren Chieftain still in that front line spot. Wind Rider needs to back up here. Kotobeast wants to try to chomp on a target of some sort. Is he going to be able to do that? Yes. Is he going to be able to eat? No, he is not. No Shaman purging there. Kotobeast finally gets a Spellbreaker in the belly and is perhaps going to try and back away now as the front door is just being held barely by these wolves, and the Mountain King still doing a little bit of dance back and forth. All right, Spellbreakers, well, going to get taken down. Kotobeast trying to keep that distance a little bit further back. Ranged units so important as the Archmage is just going to try to hold the door with this position here. Does have a Cloak of Shadows, but has to be very careful since the Orc team seems to have more range and would be able to continue to poke back a little bit more. All right, we're looking at, well, more militia being called over, some and not doing anything at all. That's not a good spot to be in. Stormbolt finding the Kotobeast, but that Spellbreaker looks like he's not going to be able to make it out anyways as he's down to 68 hit points. Scroll of Speed should be able to finish it off. 1 or 2 more attacks with those Spirit Wolves. A new Raider out on the battlefield, perhaps going to try and regroup and rejoin. All right. Nearly getting full saturation on this gold mine. Will then need to start harvesting a bit of lumber as well. Meanwhile, we're seeing more damage at the front door here. Arcane Tower close enough. Tauren Chieftain not using shockwaves as there's another Thunderclap coupled with that Cloak of Flames, just adding in so much damage again. Gonna be able to pick off 1 unit, 2 units there. Mountain King doesn't have enough mana for a Stormbolt, but with slow on that Headhunter, should still be able to finish it off. Are they going to try and regroup here? Oh, the Orc army purposely double backed around. He made it look like he was retreating and then really just showed up onto the fight here, onto the battle scene. There's an ensnare. Raider quickly gets taken out, trying to go after those casters that were revealed in the backline, wanting to make sure the sorceresses don't give any more invisibility. Torrent Chieftain now gets up to level 5. So level 5, are we going to see level 3 Shockwave perhaps start ripping through things as we see the Shockwave quickly just eat through a couple of priests already. Those priests being forced to retreat back. Mountain King still has enough for a Stormbolt. Going to find it onto a Raider. There's an ensnare. That Raider is trying to get away, but that, well, Mountain King shakes off the ensnare and able to finish the job. Farseer sitting at level 4. Tauren Chieftain gonna go ahead and back away. No Spirit Wolves now getting resummoned up here to try and get that Farseer to level 5. Level 5 Farseer could equal Shadow Wolves. More training is needed. More peons are going to be needed in order to get lumber. Lumber is now the problem, and well, I wonder when he's going to start realizing that is the situation. Only 5 workers going up against 8. Both sides kind of crippled their way into the late game, and it doesn't look like ORCer wants to let up off of the pressure just quite yet. Alright, Tauren Chieftain, Clarity Potion, level 3 Shockwave can easily, after a couple of Shockwaves, can really barrel down and take down the farms and this Altar of Kings here. Meanwhile, there are the Wolves moving across to the center here. Tauren Chieftain still making its way. Mountain King is invisible. Is he going to do the same thing again? Thunderclap and then Cloak of Flames pretty much killing all of those units. Mountain King getting very close to level 5 as we're going to look at more pressure there. There's a Shockwave, there's a Chain Lightning, and suddenly all of those units realize, wait a second, I'm not very tanky. I do not want to be into this front door spot. All right, Arcane Vault about to get taken down. Tauren Chieftain could try to go for a Shockwave across all of these across all these targets again. There you go. There goes 2 priests in the process. And then now the Archmage could be in trouble as well. Altar of King's going to get taken down. Meanwhile, Mountain King pretty much doing the same exact thing he tried to do earlier, trying to finish things off here. We could be looking at some repairs onto that Orc Burrow as we're still fighting our way through. Tauren Chieftain now out of mana. Staff of Teleportation gone. Archmage falls at level 4. Mountain King rejoins in on the battlefield, but he is low on mana. And the Lightning Shield now onto that Tauren Chieftain. Lightning Shield on the Tauren Chieftain. Are we going to see Potion of Invulnerability right there trying to shake off a little bit more damage again as the Mountain King could, use a Stormbolt to, try and shut down a Raider in retreat once more. All right. Oversaturation on the gold mine again. Peons getting, rotated back over to the lumber line. Perhaps healing at the Fountains of Health could be a strong call, but most of the Orc units are actually fairly okay, except for this one that the Mountain King may be able to snipe down. All right, Raider down to 339 hit points. Mountain King quickly just sells some items, buys some more, as we see the Purge break free there. All right. 2 peons, 3 peons back on lumber. It is really a worker game right now. Rarely do you see worker harassment play such a big part in a WarCraft 3 game. But yeah, that's exactly what we saw in this matchup. Worker harassment really adding up quite a bit. Now, Tauren Chieftain getting back up to, getting more mana again, pushing forward. Remember, that is that level 3 Shockwave. Could try and take down these farms that are all pretty much lined up for maximum damage. There you are. There's a Chain Lightning followed by a Shockwave, and suddenly this Chain Wave damage finding a lot of those targets here. Tauren Chieftain has enough for another Shockwave, does find another, takes down a couple more units again. Thunderclap there. There's a Chain Lightning bouncing across more casters along the back line, and without the Arcane Vault, he can, Sock cannot train up the necessary Spellbreakers to to shut down this Shockwave, Chain Lightning, Chain Wave strategy. All right, more damage, more pressure coming on through. These Raiders really should be retreating to the back. Not quite sure why they are even in this fight here, especially with the Fountain of Health so freely wide open for Orcer to just, have his Raiders fall back to. More Raiders getting trained up again. We're looking at 9 workers compared to 5, and, more healing is necessary. All right, trading mana essentially training mana against all of those units here. Tauren Chieftain now nearing level 6, and we know how much a level 6 Tauren Chieftain can rebound a game or just become a tipping point here. Farseer, Clarity Potion. He's going to buy another one to try and perhaps give to the Tauren Chieftain. That is going to be the case. Tauren Chieftain already back up to full hit points. Remember that percentage-based healing that I've, well, mentioned so many times already. All right, perhaps Expos being placed down. Interesting spot to try and expand towards your opponent at this point in the game. Yes. Oh, I don't have my camera on? Is that why people are like, hey, is that you? Do I need my camera on? Yeah. Hold on 1 second. All right.
A player's force.
All right. Thunderclap right there. Mountain King invisible once more. Shockwave finding a couple of targets. Chain Lightning still bouncing around, but well, bouncing the wrong way to not get more of those units again. Mountain King comes in with another Thunderclap. Arcane Tower. You're going to see another Shockwave rip on through. Arcane Tower gets taken down. However, the Raiders could get taken down as well. Mountain King with level 3 Thunderclap really slowing things down as the Shadow Wolves get in the way again. Another Shockwave rips through, finding another caster in the back as the Shadow Wolves are going to try to dive, perhaps take down some of these low hit point units. Even the Lumber Mill and this Arcane Sanctum, because they have been on the receiving end of so many shockwaves, are dangerously low of being taken out. All right, Scout Tower with Arcane Sentry, enough to reveal that Shadow Wolf. Meanwhile, Farseer getting healed up. Tauren Chieftain, this time the one going to be bearing gifts, using up a Clarity Potion and also buying up a Potion of Mana. Clarity Potions, well, drinking them till they go out of style, pretty much. So incredibly important. Farseer sitting at level 5, Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 5, just finding a little bit of ways to get extra items and extra gold. All right, more Raiders, more Shamans joining in. 3 minutes left of mining, on both sides pretty much, as this Scout Tower could get finished off easily. All right. What item is left behind here? Wand of Mana Stealing. That could be incredibly important, stopping a Mountain King from getting 1 or maybe even 2 Thunderclaps out onto the battlefield here. Meanwhile, we see a Water Elemental making a splash against the Great Hall here. Well, Shaman, we're going to see a Purge, and perhaps another Purge. The level 2 Water Elemental purged down very quickly. I was confused for a moment, but Sok opted to go for level 3 Brilliance Aura instead of level 3 Water Elementals, hence the reason why the Shaman was able to purge it down in just 2 hits. Alright, Mountain King gonna come in from behind and get a Thunderclap across all of those Shamans right there, but the Archmage is already in a lot of trouble. Alright, there's that Thunderclap right there. There's Chain Lightning ripping on through. Level 6 now on the Tauren Chieftain. Raider's gonna get cleaned up here. Perhaps some other spellcasters in the back could have problems. Archmage down to 364 hit points. There's invisibility, and it will be able to get away. Alright, are we perhaps gonna look at a Shockwave ripping on through all of these targets? There's the Shockwave hitting all of those workers again as the Tauren Chieftain now forced to retreat back. There's a Thunderclap there on the trailing unit, and Sok looks to be in a great spot since he got his Arcane Vault back. He now has a large number of Spellbreakers, but no longer has the Archmage after an Ensnare and Shockwave onto the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain looking to, well, fall back again, taking down that very, very important Archmage there. Now Mountain King no longer getting the bonus of all of that experience. Mountain King, well, is it revealed right there? Tauren Chieftain still no longer has that Clarity Potion. He's going to try to take down the Mountain King. Mountain King going to fight back the other way. Farseer does have Earthquake and could use Earthquake perhaps effectively. No more Potion of Wand of Mana Stealing though, as the Raider perhaps going to get taken down. Mountain King, well, could throw a Stormbolt to ensure the death, but just going to go ahead and slowly finish off that Raider that was slowed down. Level 6 Tauren Chieftain often means good game. Expo is up and running for ORC, so ORC has the economic advantage right now. Meanwhile, the Shadow Wolves have dived into the base here and is currently just stopping the mining as we see Control Magic taking those Shadow Wolves and pushing them back the other way. Invisibility, Tauren Chieftain taking a little bit of damage. Shadow Wolves are going to perhaps try and engage here. We need to see a fight at the Great Hall, perhaps for defense, as the Tauren Chieftain gonna get, well, cleaned up. All right. Normally, you do not want to surround this Tauren Chieftain, but this actually works out well, as the Tauren Chieftain is currently surrounded by Spellbreakers. Chain Lightning bouncing through, not hitting the casters in the back. Now the the Mountain King also finds himself kind of in a weird spot. All right, gonna see a Spellbreaker get cleaned up. There's a Shockwave finding a couple of casters, and now the casters, well, rethinking their choices on life, as well as the Archmage now hired up from the tavern. All right, so getting the tavern back and getting that precious mana back, Mountain King is a bit more of a threat, as we are going to heal and regroup. Kodo Beasts are both digesting a Spellbreaker. That is a big difference in supply, losing 6 supply there, so it's 45 supply compared to 33. No, excuse me, 27 supply compared to 51. ORC is the one with 51 supply right now, and well, those wolves could, well, spell some problems here in just a moment. No easy way to reveal them, and once they are, well, dealing a little bit of damage, well, they can just go ahead and try and hide to live and fight another day. One wolf gonna get taken down, another wolf gonna get taken out. Where is the Farseer, though? Farseer already at level 6 was, well, back at home trying to buy some items while setting up a new Voodoo Lounge in this forward spot. All right, those wolves could spell problems. Kodo Beast, here we are, here we go. The Thunderclap across the Cloak of Flames was sold. That Kodo Beast trying to back away is going to be able to do exactly that. One Kodo Beast down. Nope. Does get taken down by a Thunderclap. There's a Chain Lightning bouncing around. Doesn't bounce onto the casters in that back position, and that's really what you're trying to see. You're trying to see that Chain Lightning open things up for Shockwave to be able to pick off units. Kodo Beast in the back there. Mountain King now gets up to level 6. He's going to try and dance back again. 46 supply compared to 31. One priest gets taken out. Perhaps a little bit more heals are necessary. Send that grunt to the spa. Let him heal up and then rejoin in on the fight. Well, it's going to be 1 mining base versus 0. Sock sitting on 28 supply compared to 49. And, well, ORC can pretty much say, bring the fight to me. If you get a watchtower, get some more static defense here. And as long as you're making sure your opponent does not have an expo, you know that you have this game in the long run. The problem is going to be this invisible Mountain King coming across, opening things up. There's a Thunderclap. There's a Stormbolt Thunderclap 1-2, followed by Avatar. Tauren Chieftain now trying to retreat back here. Is he going to be able to get a Shockwave off against any of the casters in the back line, as the Spellbreakers are still all there? Let's talk about trying to hit magic immune units. Stormbolt finding in the back of the Tauren Chieftain here. Are we going to see are we going to see a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability used? That is the question, as the Spellbreaker just trying to slowly walk away. Going to be able to shake it off, now head back off to the north here. The rest of the casters, what's going on? The Tauren Chieftain has 50 seconds left until his, well, reincarnation is ready to unfold down to 110. There's a little bit of damage right there. Mountain King gets a little tap in the back. He had the Potion of Invulnerability, did not use it, and the Tauren Chieftain falls at level 6. All right, ORC making some horrible mistakes there. I believe my absolute dumbfoundedness, unable to express my disbelief. This game was thrown away by ORC. He just needed to keep that Tauren Chieftain alive a little longer. Could have used a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, run to the Fountain of Health, and then would have had reincarnation back ready to go again. Instead, Tauren Chieftain is down, needs to get resurrected, and a very expensive way, I believe, is the Tauren. Where is he? Tauren Chieftain is resurrected the expensive way, and now going to be going straight after these other casters here. He doesn't have a Potion of Mana. Tauren Chieftain is back out. Kodo Beast is trying to eat something. He's going to find a little bit there. There's a Stormbolt onto the Farseer. Farseer also got the Potion Invulnerability again, so that was taken away there. And now the Kodo Beast is trying to block the damage. Tauren Chieftain trying to chase up there. Is he going to be able to catch that Archmage? There's a Stormbolt onto the back of the mountain, or from the Mountain King and there's invisibility again. All right, are we going to see a little bit of damage? There was an auto attack. That was an invisible unit for just a second. Tauren Chieftain falls back down, will get back up again, but is going to be surrounded by some, well, targets that don't care if he has a Shockwave and full mana. Going to go after some full units again. Well, is he going to chase after? That is the question. Mountain King versus Tauren Chieftain. Well, the Shadow Wolves are now back out onto the battlefield. Tauren Chieftain going to try and chase off to the north. All of those units are in the backfield, just continuing to hide once more. All right, control magic, switching up targets as those Shadow Wolves, well, should not be getting anywhere near an arcane tower, revealing them only to have them turn colors. All right. Looking to finish off this Water Elemental here. Water Elemental looking to finish off a peon or two. In comes some Shadow Wolves as well, gifted by Orcer. A little bit of easy damage. We're going to see, well, these wolves get taken down. Are they going to see a couple of peons down? Yes, we do. One peon is down. New wolves going to get summoned up and now backed away. 25 supply compared to 21. There it goes. Taken out. Tauren Chieftain could get to level 7. Invisible Mountain King has been the name of the game. There's, well, some control magic again. There's a quick reveal. Mountain King trying to keep things at bay. And, well, Sok is going to destroy this expo, preventing the economic advantage that Orcer worked so hard to establish. All right. 21 supply compared to 25. Army size, 16 supply army compared to 24. Peons, well, making their way through. Are they going to find a way? Is he going to find a way to perhaps mine long-distance gold? There's been a peon here for a very long time. He hasn't really been doing anything at all. Shadow Wolf going to come across here, get in some critical strikes, and, well, take down one peon. More peons also made their way over as well. Farseer sitting at level 6. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 6. They will not level up here, but will gain some additional items. Perhaps those additional items will help out tremendously, as the Raiders could also be looking to ensnare down these targets here momentarily. All right, there goes another Forest Troll Berserker. Ogre Magi going to get cleaned up. But this game was Orcer's to take. However, he let Sok get back into this game a bit too much. All right, resummoning up some wolves. Going to go ahead and finish off this Ogre Magi creep camp. Not quite sure why he needed to resummon at all. Yeah, the Farseer really needs the mana a bit more. We see an ensnare now go down, as the red Drake is just going to constantly get pummeled by these targets here. It now get picked back up. Yeah, the Farseer trying to finish it off. Not going to be able to do it. There you go, waiting for those ensnare cooldowns to come to an end. One more attack. There it goes, finishes it off. And what is the item? It is going to be Rune Bracers. So perhaps give that to that Tauren Chieftain, who's been on the receiving end of so many Stormbolts and Thunderclaps. Back inside here, Water Elemental looking to make, well, a little bit more of a splash inside once again. Arcane Tower going to get taken down by the Wolves, and now perhaps focus on a couple of those other units here. All right, Tauren Chieftain, Stormbolt finding the Farseer. Farseer did have those Rune Bracers, so able to shake off a little bit more of that damage, and perhaps needs to get some healing salves in order to heal back up again. Also has a Scroll of Speed, going to try and run and will be able to get away. Mountain King, well, Stormbolt onto a Raider. That is a 5-second stun coupled with damage, which will lead to the death right there. All right, units trying to regroup. Tauren Chieftains, well, reincarnation is back online. That is incredibly important. Farseer trying to get away. Mountain King with those boots of speed, well, trying to catch up. Endurance Aura level 2 variety on that Tauren Chieftain. Needed just a little bit more experience, as we see Earthquake now look to take down some buildings. All right, Shockwave ripping on through more buildings again. Farseer trying to back away, and now more damage racking up. Are we going to see some another Shockwave perhaps going from the top to just finish off those buildings? Well, Earthquake and Aftershocks taking down all of those farms right there pretty much in an instant. I think that's the first time I've ever made that earthquake and or earthquake and aftershocks, yeah, or pre-quake. Yeah. Any way you look at it, that is a lot of damage on a lot of damage and a lot of very low hit point buildings. Also, adding to this is the fact that those Shadow Wolves are currently, well, hiding themselves since we no longer have any, oh, accidentally attacking your own buildings. Peons getting cleaned up there. Where is the Goblin Zeppelin? Goblin Zeppelin back down across here, gonna clean up more Kobold Geomancers. Tauren Chieftain going, oh, this is an interesting spot to be in. We have a bunch of invisible targets here. Tauren Chieftain is just going to be dropping himself in and trying to take down buildings. That's exactly what we're looking at. Finds both the Arcane Sanctum and the castle right there, and now just going to go around the far side. Anytime he can hit 2 buildings with a shockwave, that is, well, pretty much an effective use. The Tauren Chieftain now just pretty much dancing around with these units. You can see a water elemental slowly making the trip across. There's a shockwave again. Finding, and, well, Barracks taking a little bit more damage once more. All right. Tauren Chieftain. Is he going to do it again? Yes, he's going to do it again. There's the shockwave. Finishes off the barracks and the farm just after earthquakes, and those aftershocks are just doing so much damage over and over. Water elemental down to, water elemental gonna get ensnared. Was waiting for that ensnare. I'm gonna get well, just dissolved into a puddle for timed life as the raider gets taken down here. Meanwhile, Shadow Wolves, oh, control magic, giving up those wolves back to the opponent as they're going to be racing their way back down to the south side again. But remember, when the Archmage is invisible, the Brilliance Aura only affects the Archmage. No bonus mana for the Spellbreakers or the Sorceresses. They're finally shaking it off in order to spread that extra mana around to the remaining units. I wonder if Sok actually noticed that and like, wait a second, I need mana on my units. I cannot just leave my Archmage invisible. That would spell problems. All right. Mounting, or Tauren Chieftain ready to venture forth again. Are we going to see just a shockwave rip on through? Oh, just a little bit short there. Finishes off a Sorceress. And now the Goblin Zeppelin, well, the Goblin Zeppelin is slowed down to 176. Are we going to see the Goblin Zeppelin taken down? The Raider is still inside there. Raider may end up getting, well, the Raider being forced to drop out. Now, Tauren Chieftain now trying to retreat back there. Tauren Chieftain still has the reincarnation, so he should be fine. Stormbolt finding this here, and now we're going to be looking at a potential surround here. No, Tauren Chieftain able to juke a little bit more, and the Tauren Chieftain now trying to make its way back. Mountain King going to be unloading pretty much all of its mana onto this Tauren Chieftain. What is going to happen here as the Farseer does have a healing salve? Are we going to see an ensnare? Yes, we do, as the Tauren Chieftain now makes his way back off to the north. Meanwhile, Shadow Wolves are trying to dive in onto the castle here. They are still doing a little bit of poke damage. There goes a Raider. Raider taken down by a Stormbolt, as we're still looking at damage racking up again. There's a control magic once more. And then now, it's really going to come down to building damage. Tauren Chieftain regenerating hit points at that fountain of health. 1,200 hit points, quite a bit to fill up here. Meanwhile, the Shadow Wolf of Sok is going to spot this very easily, as new wolves are going to get summoned up. All right, little bit of damage. Moving back and forth, Tauren Chieftain down to 120 mana. Needs a lot more mana if he wants to try and close out this game. Mana is the name of the game. Mana is the important resource, as the Archmage has level 3 Brilliance Aura and level 3 Water Elementals. Units, well, going all the way back home. This Peon wants to run inside a home here. Perhaps stay alive with some critical strikes. Oh, there's one critical strike. This Peon could get taken down. That is going to be the last worker. No, he jumps inside at the last moment. Sometimes you forget you're watching this live and not on YouTube. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Well, now you'll remember because I read your comment. Alright. Water Elemental looking to dive on in here, summon up a couple of wolves. That's going to be enough damage to finish off this Water Elemental again. Mountain King, is it going to try and go after the Farseer? Yes, it does. Farseer no longer has those rune bracers. Going to be in trouble. It takes another Thunderclap as well. Farseer trying to retreat away. Does have Scroll of Speed. And now going to have the Shadow Wolves try to get in front of it too. Both sides are fighting. Tauren Chieftain now down to, well, 400 hit points. Is he going to Shockwave? Yeah, Shockwave's the Sorceress to try and, well, finish off that target there. Is he going to get off another Shockwave? That is the question. Trying to get another Shockwave off. Doesn't get off in time. Gonna get resurrected though. And then, well, back in the saddle once more. All right, Farseer comes back around. Pretty much good hit points. Are we going to see a Stormbolt onto the Farseer? We are. And now the Tauren Chieftain's trying to protect. The Farseer ran in a little bit too close. He needs to get healed back up. But the Tauren Chieftain and the Mountain King with those boots of speed able to, well, move around the map very, very quickly, as the Mountain King is not getting mana though. Summoning up a couple of wolves. Mountain King realized, wait a second, I got a little bit too ahead of myself. I cannot take on all of these units here, as the Farseer needs to retreat back. Doesn't want to walk into a group of water elementals, as the Mountain King now heads back off to the north. Farseer can head over to the Fountain of Health, perhaps heal up there. Tauren Chieftain could perhaps get some shockwaves onto some of those casters. That's exactly what he wants. He wants to hit those casters, gets a priest there, and now gonna hide in the corner once again as the Farseer regenerates some hit points back up to 500, and now gonna perhaps resummon up some wolves and perhaps try and poke apart these low hit point casters as the Spellbreakers stay close to home to try and protect home base. Stormbolt finding the Farseer. Mountain King trying to get close enough again. There's a shockwave through. Mountain King gonna get another Stormbolt onto that Farseer here. Is trying to break line of sight, but I believe the Mountain King is gonna be able to get there. Mountain King getting choked up on a sheep. One or two more attacks. Are we gonna see a Thunderclap? No, we are not. Archmage trying to double back around, but he's gonna find right there. There's some new wolves. Level 7 now on the Archmage. And just Mountain King with boots. Too much of an issue. And Sock ends up outlasting. Beautiful game going back and forth. I gotta say that ORC had a lot of opportunities to take down Sock, but Sock just outlasted his opponent. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.